DMJ Today with your hosts, Davin, Marcus, and Jared. It was in the moment. It was in the moment. It was like, go for it. Hey, what's happening, fam? Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to DMJ Today with your hosts, Davin, Marcus, and myself, Jared. I'm just going to hand this over to Davin because he's leading the whole thing. He's leading the conversation, so I'm going to hand it to
No,
you,
not the
Davin.
whole thing. Not the whole thing. Chill.
You're running this.
Okay, so
episode.
basically the topic for today is religion. And the reason why it came up like amongst us was because I am an agnostic, whereas the other two are Christians. If you guys don't know what agnostic is, it's kind of like a girl trying to pick where to eat. Like you're hungry, and you want to eat somewhere, but just don't know where, just don't know which one. So it's literally like that. So it's like for agnostic, it's like you're trying to, you feel like there's a higher power, and you want to know that higher power, but you don't know which religion is the right one. Isn't that a good analogy? I think that's a great analogy. But anyway,
I like that.
yeah. So that's kind of how it got brought up. Maybe we should do it like you and Jared. Maybe you guys give your experiences in religion, and then we can go on why I think religion is why I'm not so sold on religion, and maybe you guys can give me your perspectives on it or whatever. Yeah. So which one of you wants to start with your experiences in religion? Why you feel like religion or Christianity specifically is like good for you guys? Putting you on the spot, I know. You're welcome.
Hey.
Doesn't need to be anything amazing. Like it can be chill. It can be. I'm like.
If you're asking why I think or why I choose to be a Christian, right? If that is what you're asking me, and why it's
you can attack the question in whatever way.
No, but that's a very broad question. So we're gonna.
You can attack the question. Yeah, you can attack it anyway. You can attack it anyway. You feel the question is leaning towards.
That is a very broad question, but I'm gonna.
I'm not looking for a specific answer.
I think you just ask for a testimony.
I'm gonna take it like why I am a Christian and why I have not explored other religions. That is why I'm gonna take it.
Okay.
I'm taking it like that. So the reason that I have not explored other religions, or why I have not doubted that God is real and that God exists and that God is for me and that all those like Christian things, why I haven't doubted that is because of my experience. So it's one thing to be in a building, for example, a church, and have someone lecture and preach to you about God is this and God is this and this and this and this and this, whatever.
Yeah.
And you can have all the theory, but no practical experience. So for me, God is real to me because I have experienced him. So there was a point where I was raised in a church, but that was more theory. It wasn't like experience. So I was 17. I was 17 or 18.
It was like you were just there.
Yeah, fully. So like I knew facts about God. I could even quote John 3:16 for you. Like, I had some mind knowledge, but I had no heart knowledge or experience of God. And there came a time in my life where I was like 17 or 18, and then I experienced God for myself. And it wasn't someone else preaching about God. It was God and I having a moment together where we had a little encounter, and that changed everything for me, because then God went from like a dude up there in the sky who like wrote a book one day and it's like all powerful and like scary and freaky, to actually now God's personal to me. Jesus is my savior. Like he's with me here together in my heart. He's not like some like far away foreign dude. Like he's actually he's real. So that is my answer to that question. I have never felt to explore other religions because I am satisfied and fulfilled by God.
Okay.
Jared, on to you, brother. How do you feel? Wait, no, sorry. I'm gonna make like the question. I'm gonna try and like give you a hand here. Like, how are you thinking of attacking the question? Like, what did you hear when I say how do you experience it? And then you can go ahead.
What do I?
What?
What did you say? How do I?
you can just explain. You can explain like how you attacking the question, what you heard when I said, um,
Yeah.
how was your experience in religion, and then you can take it away from there.
Firstly, before like I give my answer, I just want to say we speaking from our personal point of view, so we're speaking from a Christian point of view. We're not going into other religions because we haven't experienced that yet, you know. So we
Like
can't
I
speak
said,
on.
you can
No,
take it
I'm just
anyway, right? Yeah. I think your own personal
Yeah.
view, and maybe take it from a Christianity view, not religion in a broad sense, maybe just a personal
Yeah. I think
experience.
for this, I'm just gonna, the way I took it is, how did I choose to become a Christian? You know, like we know we all are born into a religion. Some people are born Tamil, some people are born Christian, Muslim, etc., etc., right? And I think I think religion or becoming part of religion is when it comes to a certain age, you make a choice. You know, like for example, I think you're born Christian. Am I right,
Yeah.
Davin? Okay,
Yeah.
so you're like born Christian, right? But you're born into that, but then you chose to not become Christian, you know? You're agnostic. You're not classified as Christian. I think we all have that choice where we get to decide whether or not we can be in that religion or go into something else. For me, like to become a Christian, I think I was like 14, 15, where I felt there was something missing, you know, like I was born in Christian home, went to church and stuff, etc., etc., and I felt personally there was something missing inside of me, and I think like once I went to church or for myself, and I got to read the word, read the Bible and stuff, and experience God on a personal level, compared to just going to church. That's it and going home. But experiencing the relationship with God yourself, that changes the whole game. That you feel fulfilled, if you know what I mean. You feel that empty void. It's gone. There's no empty void. There's just that fullness that's in you, which for me I will never leave. I'm not gonna say Christianity. I'll say I will never leave God, Jesus, because I see like I always tell people, I always see relationship with God over religion. Many people won't understand that. Religion is something where you're forced into doing like certain things, rituals. People say it's rituals, but forced to doing certain things in the church or religion. But a relationship with God is completely different to a religion. And if you look on that over religion, then I don't think you need to look anywhere else. That's how I see your question. But yeah.
Yeah, I think a very like interesting, like amazing similarity in both your stories. It was both of you said something like you were going to church, but like you weren't feeling anything. You were reading the Bible, but it was just words. It was just facts that you guys knew. And then it really changed once you found meaning in the words. You found a purpose in going into church. That's just something I picked up from you guys.
Yeah, because there's such a big difference between, like Jared was saying, there's a big difference between religion and relationship, and people don't understand that. Like religion, institutionalized religion, it's practice. It's like practices, it's habits, I guess. It's doing things, keeping things off the list. So it's like saying I'm a Christian because I went to church on Sunday, or I'm a Christian because I did this, because I did this, because I did this. And while all of these things that you do are important and they are in the Bible, the root of Christianity, it's not performance, it's relationship. So religion focuses on performance, whereas God actually, like if you actually read the Bible, if you read the gospel, God did not send his son Jesus to die for us so that we can be reconciled into practices. He sent Jesus so that we could be reconciled in relationship with him. And I think that a lot of people miss that. And that's why, like, a lot of people don't like Christianity. It's because they were raised in a church that was very religious, that was very order, rules, regulations.
Yeah, it's usually not
double standards.
It's usually not the relationship, it's the practices that mess it up.
Like I said, I was raised in I didn't pray outside of church. I didn't read the Bible outside of church. I didn't do those things.
Like I said, it was just like you were there. It wasn't really anything more.
Yeah.
Just you were there. I think maybe we can do pros and cons now. I think we should again start with the cons. It's always good to end on a lighter note. So one of the cons I definitely think would be religion is definitely used sometimes to justify terrible things.
Yeah.
I can give you an example. I mean, religion was used to justify racism before colonizers came. There was no such thing as white people. It was, I'm an Englishman, you're an Irishman, and you're a Scotsman. There was no, he's a white man. They'd never seen a black person before. And obviously they were practicing Christianity. And from what they saw, they were the perfect creation of God in his image, right? Yes. Yeah. So when they came to Africa and they saw a bunch of these black people, they were saying, wait, but we're the perfect image of God and we're this color and they that color. So maybe they also an image of God, just not on our same level. So they obviously used that thinking to justify cruelty to these people. And I mean, the cruelty that we still experience today. Yeah, I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts behind it? I mean, religion in a general sense is used to justify bad things. Not necessarily just Christianity. I mean, we've seen it in the Muslim community. A lot that happens. What do you guys think about that?
I fully agree with you. I don't think people realize the effect or the role that religion played in the colonial process and in imperialism and all those things, where they actually used the gospel to justify oppression. And I think that that's something that we still see today. Like, I've seen countless accounts on Twitter of like old white men who have like some racist like slogan in their bio.
Can I say a thing about that? It's either racist old white men or it's young white girls. Why is it those two? It's always those two that are most racist and are using like Bible verse or not, like using Bible verses and stuff like that. That's really weird. I've never seen that, dude.
Messed up. But it's like
it's only those two. Yeah, but
so many things that are that like, and this is where the problem with religion versus relationship, because if you had relationship, you would actually have understanding that is not what the scripture means. Because if you are just religious, ticking boxes, filling things out, not actually getting to know God or his word, you're going to take one verse out of the whole Bible and think, cool, this verse means that I can be racist. This verse means that I could be sexist. This verse means this and this and this, where it really doesn't. Like, it really doesn't. And people don't understand the context of the Bible as well. Like, there's so much, like, there's such a depth to theology that people overlook when they use.
Definitely,
like when they use.
Anyone who doesn't know, I study theology. That's why I was like, I know. I know, very weird for agnostic to be studying a religious thing. But it's faith seeking understanding the meaning of theology, and I'm seeking understanding. So,
I think. Oh, hold on, Devin. I think just to I think just to go on your note, you said like white people said they're the perfect image of God and stuff. But if you think about it, when the Bible, where does everything in the Bible take place? It takes place.
I think I know what you're gonna say. That they weren't even white people. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they weren't even white people. But I mean, at the time there was I mean, Jesus, for instance. How does everyone know what Jesus looks like? That's not an image of Jesus. Actually, that's one of the kings who made a painting of himself, and they all hung it. All of like the Englishmen or whatever hung it in their homes, and then he became like the image of Jesus later on. I do think a counter to my point though, where I said like religion is used to justify bad things. One that I've heard like quite a bit is people say the religion is good or religion is perfect, but people aren't.
Yeah.
And those people are the ones who are using this to justify that. That's something I've heard a lot, and that's something I feel like I can maybe accept in a way.
Which is true.
But
I
at
think
the same time, I'm still dealing with the people who are using like religious views. So it's kind of hard to make the distinction between the two.
Yeah.
I
think he said that about religion. About Christianity, Gandhi. I think Gandhi said that. Am I right? Was it Gandhi? Gandhi said he said he likes religion, he likes Christianity, but he doesn't like the people. But to give an answer to your question, Devin, I think I just have to simplify it where God is love, right? So God is love. And in the Bible, it basically says that this the whole Bible is simplified into two things. If you do those two things, then you're living a righteous life, I would say. The first thing is to love God. First thing is to love God, right? To love God with all your heart, all your soul. And the second thing is to love your neighbor as yourself. Now, if you apply those two principles to everything you do, let's say like if you are racist and stuff, you can't be racist to someone. Let's say if you love that person, you won't be racist to that person. Am I right? You don't treat them equal. If you love the person, you treat them as you'd want to be treated as yourself. And I feel like if people just understand those two things, if Christians or people in general just believe that or do that, then the religion won't be as complicated. There won't be so much laws and stuff. If you just do those two things, then I would say
that's super interesting. What you just mentioned is very similar to the philosophical thought of Stoicism, which is like basically you don't like. I'm going to explain what it is, and then I'm going to tell you why it's similar to what you just said. It's basically you don't let the things that you can't have an effect on, like, make you upset, and you focus on what you can change. That's like basically what Stoicism is. And one of the things in there says, if you live a life where you're a good person, whether there's a God, if there's a God, they won't care about anything else. They just know you were a good person in your life and you will go to heaven or whatever. But if there isn't a God and you live as if you're a good person, you're at least going to the afterlife knowing you've had a good life and you had a virtuous life. I think that's very cool. I think that's very like interesting thought process, how they kind of link together. Like if you're a good person and you apply that in anything you do, like Jared said, then God will.
But I have a question to that.
Okay.
Who's the judge? Who decides what is good and bad?
Well,
everyone could be
society judges. It's based on court of public opinion of what is good or bad. There isn't anything that is like universally good, because for instance we could see cannibalism as bad, but you go somewhere else and that's completely normal. That's just something they do. There's nothing that is universally right. Like I can't say me running with scissors is a bad thing. Actually, that's a bad thing to say, because I can go somewhere else and people will run with scissors like two hands, two in two hands. Like, come on. So yeah, there's not anything like universally right. You can't like put a good or bad thing. I think it just depends on your personal views of what you believe is good, unless it's like racism, and that's kind of weird.
Yeah, so it's essentially society it's letting people define what is good and what is bad.
Well, I guess in your society, yeah. It is society based of what is good or bad.
But don't you think that in itself has made such a mess of a world that we live in today?
Not necessarily. A lot of the Stoic practices people use every day, journaling, that's a Stoic practice. Meditating, that's a Stoic practice. It's had a positive effect on a lot of the things we do to help our mental health and to be
I'm
calm.
not specifically talking about the Stoic practices, though. I'm talking about the idea of letting people decide what is good and bad.
I think on your point, I'm going to agree with your point, but I think with everything there's pros and cons.
Yeah.
And I think the pros would be that maybe it helps you to believe that you are a good person, and maybe the cons can be in the wrong society. It could be used for unjust things.
Yeah.
I would agree with your point, though. I would say like it could go very dangerous very quickly. Maybe I was thinking of another con now, but I'm not too sure what it was now. Do you two have it? Maybe I'll think of it just now. You two maybe have an idea of.
I have a question, Davin. Like, I just have a question. Is like, I just want to know from your part, like, we explain like why we are Christian, why we chose to be Christian, but from your point of view, what made you become agnostic?
Good question.
I don't know. I think I don't necessarily know, dude. I literally just like, I don't feel that meaning that you guys are talking about, like the meaning. I don't feel that, and I haven't felt it yet. But I would like to believe. Here's actually a pro of why I think religion is good. I think religion gives people a purpose in life.
Yeah.
With any religion, I think it gives people a purpose in life, and I would like to believe there's a higher power, because that would mean that there's a purpose to life. Life is meaning, actually. And I wouldn't be fully atheist, because then what's the point of life? Or you're literally born to die. So yeah, I think I'm not feeling that meaning necessarily, but I would like to, because I would like to have a more optimistic view on life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that fully answers your question, but
yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to the pros. I feel I'll think of a con later, but let's move on to the pros.
I feel like I have endless pros. I just
you lay them on me, bro. Lay them on me.
Well, it's literally everything that you're saying. Like, there's purpose, there's value, there's love, there's acceptance. Like, everything that we strive for. Okay, personally, that I can only speak from my experience. Things that people are so desperate for in the world. People are desperate for love and connection and intimacy and acceptance and validation and reason to live, like you said, like reason to life. And I have found all of those things in God. That is why it's a pro for me. But then again, this is a relationship, not a religion thing. Because you can be religious and not feel loved and not feel accepted and not have purpose. If you're ticking all those boxes, that doesn't mean that you're going to have those things. Because those things, the pros of Christianity, okay, I'm speaking for Christianity again. The pros of Christianity come from relationship with God. It doesn't come from ticking boxes or from doing things.
Yeah, quickly on your point, I know you said like you're speaking just on Christianity, but I mean, all of that you've said can be applied to every religion.
Yeah.
Really. So when you're speaking on Christianity, it's basically speaking about every religion, if you think about it, whether Muslim, Jewish.
Yeah, I don't like speaking on behalf of other religions because I don't know enough about it.
Yeah. You can't fully understand.
Awesome. But if we're talking about religion as a bigger thing, I think a pro is that it actually does, like you said, bring hope, because it allows you to have faith in something other than yourself. Because at the end of the day, we all know that we fall short and that we disappoint ourselves, and that we can have big dreams and goals and expectations. And while we will achieve our dreams and we can do great things, like oftentimes we fall short or we make mistakes or we mess up. And putting our hope and our faith in something greater than ourselves also just protects our heart from that pain of like, I'm a failure, I'm a mess.
Okay, wait. I actually remembered what I was thinking. It's a question that I'm going to ask you to, or ask if you guys know about. It is something that I think a lot of people who were Christians, when they found this out, they may have been like a bit iffy about the religion afterwards. So are you guys like aware of the doctrine of election?
Doctrine of what?
Doctrine of
election.
No.
Election.
Yeah.
No.
So basically what the doctrine of election is, it says that God has put favor in some people and not others. So it's kind of like before you're born or whatever, like he already knows, okay, I'm putting favor in you. And basically what that means is only some people are going to heaven at the end of the day. Only some people are going to heaven. No matter how you live, he has already picked a few. That's the doctrine of election. And yeah, I feel like maybe that's a con in some people's eyes, in the sense that they might be extremely religious or they feel like they have a good relationship with God, but no matter what, they don't know if they're gonna still go to heaven. And I know a lot of Christians either don't know it or don't accept the doctrine of election. But yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on it now that you've heard about it?
I wouldn't accept it simply because it goes against the gospel. It's contradictory.
It is Old Testament though, so it is before Jesus.
Like, where's the source though? Like which scripture and stuff? Cause
yeah,
it does feel like just to know like where it's from. Because people say like a lot of things from the Bible, but it's not there.
I can't necessarily give you the exact like thing right off my head, but I know it is Old Testament before Jesus, so it would make sense a little bit why it's a bit like God hates us, you know what I mean?
But I think
that kind of like fear God.
The Old Testament in itself, there was like action and consequence was at play. So there was also opportunity to restore. Whereas the main difference essentially between the New Testament and the Old Testament is that in the Old Testament, people had to atone for their sins themselves. Whereas now we living in the New Testament, Jesus atoned for our sin. So we don't have to sacrifice.
In the Old Testament, in the Old Testament, the mention of the Jewish words for charity and I think love is only mentioned like once or twice. That's in the whole Old Testament. And then after that, in the New Testament, it's mentioned every single time. Yeah. So, like I said, it was more of like having a fear of God in the Old Testament. So maybe that's why it's more like, whoa, dude, chill out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think for your question, Davin, is where you said some people are going to heaven, some people are going to heaven, some people are not, right? And that was from the Old Testament.
Predetermined. It's predetermined.
Yeah,
people are going to heaven, no matter how you live your life.
Yeah. So for what I would say is the New Testament where Jesus comes. So the reason why Jesus comes is that he comes to die for our sins. Everyone's sins, everyone's sin in their life, right? But he comes to die for our sins and take away every single sin that we've done in the past. And that's where everything is gone and you became new. You're a new person.
Yeah.
So for you to become a new person and stuff, that's when you have a relationship with God, and that's where you have that's where you can go to heaven and be with God. So I think the doctrine contradicts what Jesus came for, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say
I definitely think so. I mean, the church that I went to was an Anglican church, has a very good relationship with Jesus. And in confirmation classes, all we learned about was New Testament. Yes, I got confirmed, guys. It's New Testament. So like maybe, and I didn't even know any of the stuff. I didn't know about doctrine of election. I didn't know about these maybe negatives of Christianity.
I think
until I read it myself.
Even if this does align with the Old Testament, which I don't think that it does, but even if it does, I could be wrong. Even if it does, it's not relevant anymore because we live in the New Testament. We are not existing in the Old Testament anymore. Yeah. We are under the new covenant of grace. So regardless of whether or not this is relevant or accurate, it doesn't matter anymore because we've moved on. We've moved on. Wow, guys, this has been an awesome chat. We're going to cut it off here. This will be part 1. We will be doing a part 2. But before we end, I just want to plug 1825 Conference. For those of you who don't know what that is, 1825 Conference is my church's young adults conference. It's all about empowering young adults. So if you are a Christian or interested in Christianity, I would encourage you to do that and to register. It is an online conference, so it is free. There's no cost involved. It will be on YouTube, Instagram, WhatsApp.
It's free free, which means no money, which also means no corona.
That's true.
Whoa.
No video.
Sir,
So
I don't know
safe
what
as well.
that, but it means that.
Yeah.
So you could register for that. It is on the 7th and 8th of August. Registration is free. You do have to register just to get access though. So if you want to find out more about it, you can go on Instagram and search Hillsong 1825 movement, or you can go on our website, hillsong.com/South Africa, and click on the What's Happening tab, and it will give you all the information. The theme this year is Now I See. It's based on the song Amazing Grace. I once was blind, but now I see. It's going to be really transformative and amazing. It's all about reflection and perspective. So if you consider yourself a young adult, get there. Other than that, like, subscribe.
Wait, what do we consider a young adult?
A young adult is someone who's in the young adult stage of life. So if you're a student or if you're a young worker,
I think under 25. I'll say under 25.
I'm gonna say
yeah, but what over what age?
I feel
over
like
30.
Over 18.
officially, okay,
18 is an adult.
officially it's 18 to 25, but unofficially it's 18 to 25-ish. So like if you are like 27 and you're still a young adult, like you're not settling down and like married and stuff, you are welcome here. It's fine. Tell your friends.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I was just wondering because it's like, does this mean like a bunch of 13, 14?
No.
We want sophistication.
At least 18.
You
have to be 18 out of high school. And then it goes to like 25-ish. But I'm saying ish because...
Okay, sorry 13 and 14-year-olds. Not for you. Not for you, unfortunately.
Anyway, you can do that. Like, subscribe, help our algorithm, do the things. Other than that, stay tuned for part 2 of our religion chat next week.